off to Jonathan Taylor. Huge hole. He's at the 30. He's going to go. 10, 5, touchdown. Jonathan Taylor made a man miss the line of scrimmage and then runs it into Pater. And a one-handed INT. Are you kidding me? Kenny Moore.
What a play by Nyheim Hines.
Horseshoe is back, baby. The horseshoe is back.
What is going on, Colts Nation? It is officially game day. Welcome back to Bring the Juice. Cody Felger here, along with my two guys, Matt and Lawrence. Fellas, how's it going?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm so pumped for tonight.
Oh, yeah. I mean, who isn't? We're Colts fans. We've been waiting on this day even more so than last week's game because we're going to get to see some of the starters out there.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Yeah, for sure. I'm really taking a lot more weight here with this game than opposed to even last week, like you mentioned, Lawrence. And so it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I cannot wait. Even though it's only a preseason game, man, football is back.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I thought with this pregame, Matt, I can kind of let you, if you want to, kind of run how you guys ran it last week. Obviously, I wasn't in here. So if you want to just kind of take the charge here, take the lead on what you guys were talking about last week, we can talk about similar topics.
Okay. Yeah. So obviously, I think one thing we're all looking forward to is the quarterback position. So I kind of want to go around to each of you guys. What are you expecting from both Ehlinger and Eason today?
Go for it, Lawrence.
Oh, well, Ehlinger, I want to see a guy who is able to move the ball, move the sticks, not have turnovers, that type of situation against ones with the ones. I mean, that's all I really need to do. I need to see someone just move the sticks, stay on the field. I don't need to see anything super flashy a la Ehlinger. I just need to see him with a little bit of poise out there. And with Eason, he's going to be playing with, the threes and the fours and playing against threes, fours, and fives. He needs to have one of those games. I feel like this is a game where we're going to find out, him and Strawn, honestly, because, if they show out, then that's going to say a lot for them. And that's what I'm expecting from Eason is I need to see him really show out against lesser competition today.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah, I echo what you say, Lawrence. I just need to see Sam Ehlinger. He had an up and down day. He started off kind of rough last week and, ended really strongly. And so I need to see him, okay, that was against third and fourth stringers. How's he going to do against the ones, right? Mm-hmm. And he's had some up and down days, as is Jacob Eason against the Colts defense. And so you got to see, all right, how are they going to perform against the defense that's not your own, right? So yeah, I think for Ehlinger, I gotta see, okay, how's he look against the ones, honestly. I mean, I think right now, if you're making me choose, I think right now, Jacob Eason, based off of Sunday and then this past week's performance, I think he probably has a slight edge if I'm going out tomorrow and picking my starter. But this is a great opportunity for Sam Ehlinger to put himself right back into that conversation. Mm-hmm. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how Sam Ehlinger looks and he's shown a lot of flashes in practice. I mean, my goodness, how many times have people said Ehlinger looks good? He looks good. He looks good. Okay, how's he going to do against the ones now? That's the big thing for me. And then Eason, like you said, Lawrence, I agree. I'm looking forward to seeing, can he just continue to build off of that strong week of camp, really? Can he just go against lesser competition, do what we all expect him to do, really not make much of a mistake, right? Really do what he had been doing before and just continue to build off of that strong performance and, basically not play down to his competition. That's the big thing for Eason. And if he does, and if Ehlinger struggles, then, I think that even cements him more. But hey, if Ehlinger does really well and he does really well, or he struggles, then we're right back to I think where we were before a little bit with that topic.
Definitely. I just want Ehlinger to be productive today. Like Lawrence said, I don't need him to be, flashy or look just incredible or anything. Just be productive. Don't make many mistakes. Keep him to an all-time low if you can. And just move the ball around. I would like him to throw it more often than run. Only run if you have pressure coming to you, because there's been times where he'll just run and, he won't, he doesn't need to run at that point. But we did get a super chat from Xander S. Yes, go Colts, baby. Bring the juice. Woo. We about to see
Thank
some
you.
Vikings on the butts. Absolutely. Thank you for that, by the way.
Thank you.
That's awesome. But, and then with Eason, I need Eason to have a really good game today too, because if he plays similar to how he played as far as just how productive he was against the guys he went up against, I think Ellinger starts to kind of, put himself back into the conversation, because I think right now Eason is in the driver's seat. So yeah, I need Eason to do that for sure. I'll go to some of the comments real quick. Here's Jax with some difficult decisions at receiver. Absolutely. And I'll go to receiver real quick too. I'll let one of you guys go ahead. What are you guys expecting out of the receivers this week? Because I know there's gonna be some starters going. I don't know if like TY will necessarily go, but I think Pittman's definitely going. Campbell, I believe is going to go, and also Pascal. But what are you expecting from like Strawn and some of those other guys?
I expect Mike Strawn to continue to build off of his strong performance in week number 1, and really his strong performance ever since throwing on the shoulder pads, and really ever since putting on a helmet. He has been absolutely incredible. So I expect him to fully just continue to do what he's doing, make those great catches. And, Frank Reich talked about it. I kind of saw a thing of like, all right, what are some of the drawbacks of Strawn right now? Like, what are the things he needs to work on? I think one of them was, better route running as well. He's only played one position at receiver, and the Colts like all the receivers to play, X, Y, Z, all those. They like to see him play, and he's only played one. So he still does have things to work on, but I just want him to continue, just like kind of like with Jacob Eason, build off of the strong performance he had last week and just continue to improve in those small areas, but also just continue to build off what he's doing. And as far as the other guys go, I liked what all those guys, Tariq Black, Desmond Patman, all those different guys. I'm sure there's a couple I'm missing as well, but they all looked really, really good. So I think this number 6 wide receiver battle could be very interesting.
Definitely.
Again, we know how much the Colts value special teams, so I do think maybe special teams would be the route they go. But you know what? We saw it last year when a receiver goes down, you need a guy like the Michael Harris, right, to step in for you. And so I just really am looking for, okay, which guy is going to be kind of the next man up in terms of the wide receivers. Say one of these guys goes down in the regular season, because I think all these guys will look good. They're all young. They all have a ton of potential. But, yeah, I'm looking for these wide receivers to build off of the strong week 1 game last week.
Absolutely. And we did get another super chat. I missed it earlier. It's a $4.99 from Xander again. Woo, let's go Colts. Love the channel. Bring the juice. Thank you for that. That is awesome. So, and then I'll go to you, Lawrence, real quick on that too with the receivers, and just get your thoughts on that.
All right. So Michael Strawn, the one detriment that I've seen from Strawn during training camp is early on he had massive drop issues, and he also had a little bit of separation issues. Wasn't able to get separation. He's really done a lot better with the separation issue over the course of training camp, but the drop issues, you still see those from time to time. Easy balls. You see him throwing 10 feet up in the air with a rocket by Eason, and he'll go up and get it. But if you hit him between the numbers, he might drop the football. So I don't want to see any of that in this game at all. I want him to go out there and produce a clean game. That's what I want to see from him. As for the other guys, I mean, it is a very deep section of wide receivers out there. I mean, you got Vaughns, you got Black, you got DeMichael Harris, you got Patman. What's Doolin going to do? Doolin's that guy out there. He's had it for the his kick return duties. If he shows something out there, then on the offense at all, then that could cement him at that number 6 spot. So we need to see a little bit out there of these secondary receivers, because the top 4 is guaranteed. It's mark it and pin. That's what we got. It's going to be difficult, a very, very difficult decision, I think, for these coaches when they start cutting these guys back down to 80 this week and then down to 53, and it's just going to be rough. And this is that time where they can separate themselves from the rest of the pack.
Yep, definitely. And with Doolin, he usually was almost guaranteed to have a spot because of his special teams ability, but now you have Rodgers out there and Hines, so he's got to go out there. He's got to have a really big game, so I'll be looking at him for that. But yeah, like Tyreek Black, Tyler Vaughn's, Courtney Davis is another guy I'm going to look at too, and of course Michael Strawn and Desmond Patman for that spot, because we're pretty sure what receiver 1 through 4 is going to be, but 5 and 6. That's where it gets really, really difficult. So, I mean, it's a great, problem to have all that talent there. But yeah, I mean, and then like you guys said with the Michael Harris, he's another guy too, that needs to go out there and have a big game. So this is going to be, this is huge for a lot of the players too. I want to go to some of the comments real quick. We're going to go to, Colts Loyalist. Do you guys think Mack will average 4.5 yards a carry?
That's my co-host.
Yes.
Way to go.
I will let you answer that to your co-host.
Depending. The offensive line. Mack is one of those running backs that uses an offensive line. He directs the traffic. He kind of moves those guys around with his patience and stuff like that to direct where these blocks are going. And he needs a little, like Nelson, he knows, Kelly, he knows, Glowinski, Smith, he knows those guys. And if they're not on the field, for a long portion of the season, that could really affect him because it takes time to get that kind of connection with your offensive line. And then, of course, sitting over there at left tackle, who's going to be there starting week 1? How long is it going to be for Fisher to get out there? Fisher and Mack is going to have to get that connection going as well when it comes to that. He's got that cut ability. He still shows that really quick spark that he has before the Achilles injury, and he's showing it in practice. And to me, he looks more confident than what he did in 2019, but it still has a lot to do with that offensive line because he utilizes an offensive line more than most running backs do.
I think immediately to that Kansas City game on that 4th down and 1, Marlon Mack just literally pushes Braden Smith to get that first down. You're right. He uses his blockers so extremely well. And there is a massive difference from a Chris Reed and, gosh, I don't even know who it would be at tackle right now, Julian Davenport, left side, from a Quentin Nelson to Eric Fisher. So you're right. I think it depends on the health of the offensive line. But certainly if Mack is fully back, and that's interesting that you said you feel like he's fully back, because I've heard people who have been on the other end, they're like, I don't know if he's fully back or not. I didn't see that last week. I don't know, what your opinion is on that. But, I just saw that, and I was kind of like, really?
No. Okay. So they're going by, what they saw in the game. And that's an unfair hit because there was so many times that Marlon Mack was met in the backfield. He had no opportunities to make any kind of moves or use his offensive line. He had some really good runs, but he also was hit in the backfield for like a 4-yard loss too. So that's going to affect his stats. But when he's moving through there, you actually do see it once it's moving through. Again, it has a lot to do with that offensive line. He's not like Jonathan Taylor or Jordan Wilkins with that one cut and then go. He is like, he sees something and he directs himself through it and directs the offensive line through it. So he's a lot more cerebral in his running than a lot of the other running backs.
I want to take a pause real fast. Lawrence, I know you talked about you have a new show coming up. Totally forgot about that when we jumped into this. I want to give you just a minute here to talk about what, this new opportunity is for you.
So I just signed a contract with Believe in Colts. I'm taking over where Jake Arthur and Zach Hicks left off, and they moved on to Sports Illustrated. So I'm taking over to Believe in Colts podcast. And we just signed my co-host. I'll be meeting with him on Monday to discuss all the particulars and stuff. But my co-host is DeQuell Jackson. So
pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And you'll be able to follow this podcast just everywhere that you were able to follow Believe in Colts before, but it'll also be on my channel as well with the video podcast. So you'll be able to come to my channel and check it out as well.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Yeah, everybody go follow that when it is up Indeed and check them out because that's really an awesome opportunity, Lawrence. And couldn't think of anybody better to have that happen to you. So congratulations on that. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. But I do real quick. I'll give my thoughts on Mack real quick, and I'll go to another comment that I just saw that I like. I think Mack definitely can average 4.5 yards a game. I think he's going to be used a lot more than what people are expecting in the regular season because, you don't want to run Taylor to the ground. You want Taylor to have a lot of rest and then go out there and just do his thing because Taylor doesn't need to run 20 times to get you a good amount of yards. Like he can get 150 yards on like 10, 15 carries if he really wants to. He's that good. So I think Mack definitely can. I do agree with Lawrence. I think the offensive line played a factor into his stats. Also, it was his first game back since he tore his Achilles or ACL. So, let's allow him to play a little bit, get back into the groove of things. And once he does, he's going to take off, and I think he's going to have a really big year. Now, I want to go to Jan X. Sorry if I'm not saying your username right, but speaking of running backs, who you guys picking at running back 4, Wilkins or LeMay? So I'll go to either one of you first. Who are you going with?
I mean, Wilkins. I don't think it's a very hard question for me, at least.
Man,
Right.
Wilkins is such an underrated running back.
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, I like Wilkins a lot, and I feel like as much as I want him on the roster, I feel like it's the Colts are doing him an injustice holding him as the 4th running back because I honestly believe that he would get a lot more touches and a lot more carries on a running back needed team. I think that he could go to like a Buffalo or something and be part of a 1-2 punch. The selfish part of me is like, no, don't let him go. But the guy who wants to see that Wilkins succeed, is there going, man, he needs an opportunity.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going Wilkins for sure too. I love him. He like you said, very underrated. I think he could be running back 2 or 1 on multiple different teams.
Mm-hmm.
He has that ability. I need to see LeMay a little more before I start giving him that edge. I know he had that really nice run that, was taken away because of the stupid taunting penalty, but still, he had a really nice run. I just need to see him play against better competition before I go, okay, I think he could be a running back 4. Because I don't doubt that he has the talent. He definitely looks like he does, but yeah, right now, Wilkins has proven that he can play as a starter with our offensive line or running back 2 and be productive. So I will definitely say Wilkins on that. But yeah, speaking of Mob, what I don't know how to pronounce your name. Sorry, 559. What's up, guys? Kwity time. Yeah, and then FaZe, right before him also said Kwity debuting tonight. What are you guys expecting from Kwity Paye? Are you guys expecting much tonight, or do you think he's just not going to play as much?
I think Kwitty's going to get an awful lot of snaps this game because he didn't get none last time.
Right.
And a lot of people are looking at him as being that DE1, right? And for the Colts this year as a rookie, because obviously we don't have Houston, we don't have Autry, and I think he's going to get a ton of snaps in this game. The only thing is he's not been working on a whole bunch of different combos, right? During practices, what you're seeing is he'll work on one move the entire day at practice, whether he wins or loses, just to get that move down or to get a counter down. It's something that Eberflus is working with Kwity because that was something that was very weak in his skill tree that he had during college. So they've been kind of just making him do that over and over and over during practice to kind of, make it second nature to do certain things. So we should see a lot of Kwity Paye. It'll be interesting to see what kind of looks we're going to see from Kwity, because there's some things that we have not seen Kwity do in training camp. because, he's working on basics right now. Like we've not ever seen, you're not going to see a lot because defenses and offenses are so vanilla in preseason. You're not going to see very many stunts and things like that happen. And so it's going to be mostly Kwity versus that, left tackle of the Vikings the whole night. And it's going to be probably one-on-one. So I'm really excited to see what he could do against, and I hate to say it, better competition than what he had against the Colts, during training camp. So,
yeah. No, I agree with you totally. I think he just needs snaps. He just needs some live bullets. Like with every young player, you mentioned that he didn't play last week. And so, I think he's going to see a lot of snaps tonight. And I think he definitely should because this is his first opportunity against maybe average to above average. I don't really know offhand the tackle situation there with Minnesota, but it can't be much worse than what the Colts have right now. So he's going to see it up in competition. And so he dominated early in this past week. He had 3 sacks in one practice, they said. So I'm excited to see, is it going to translate now, to a game? I mean, we've seen Ben Banogu, for example, have really strong days at camp. And then last week didn't have a sack. I mean, he had some nice pressures, but you like to see, okay, can it translate to the game? We can have guys who are practice heroes. We see that every year. But now for Kwity, all right, let it translate to actually game action. I think that's what he needs.
I just want to say you're not sure who will be going up against. Going up against his former first-round pick, buddy from this past year, Christian Darrisaw.
Really? Is he healthy? I thought he was hurt, but maybe
I thought he was playing. If he's not, then it's Rashad Hill. So I thought he was still healthy because I don't see the scratch on the listing here. So, but maybe it's wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
Here, I'll type his name in and see if there's anything that comes up with him. But I know he had an injury at some point. I just didn't know. Let's see.
Right. And to kind of bounce on Kwity Paye real quick, I do want to see a lot from him too. I just want to know, is he playing as well as he has in training camp because just he's that good, or is it because of our offensive line? That's what I'm really looking forward to as well. And then Master Blasta, he said Darrisaw is hurt.
Yes, I just pulled it up.
Yeah, he's got the groin injury, but
he was on the list of people who there were 12 players that the Vikings released a couple days ago who weren't expected to play. He was on that list. So.
Okay, I didn't see. I know he's been practicing, but it's been like slow going for him because of the groin, so I didn't know if he was playing or not.
I wasn't expecting it, but I also wouldn't have been surprised if Darrisaw played, because you want him to get some snaps if you're the Vikings, but. Yeah, I just need to see what Kwity Paye does today, because if he doesn't look as great when he's going up against the Vikings, that's going to worry me a little bit, especially with him going up against the backup left tackle and on that team. So I'll be worried at that point. But if he goes out there and looks exactly the same, looks unstoppable, I'm going to be very happy with that for sure.
I wouldn't be worried. Like I said, I mean, Kwity is kind of raw. He's really raw when it comes to his moves. He's still learning this stuff. So he may have an off day today or even next week. And I still don't mean count him out for the season because he's still learning as he goes.
Yeah, true. That is definitely true. But I don't know. That's something I'm looking forward to. Let's go to the left tackles now. I do want to go to left tackle. It's something that none of us are confident in at this point. We're a little worried. But I kind of want to get your thoughts on who you think is probably the best guy right now that's played at left tackle that should be there. And then also, and best is look, it's a stretch, but I guess the next question is, and I think we talked about it yesterday, Cody. Do you guys think somebody like Chris Reed should move over to left tackle just to see how he does? Because he did play center last week and he seemed to do all right. Just to kind of see our options at least. Should maybe try out Chris Reed if he's, solid or at least better than Holden, then, why not?
Ooh.
I don't know. It's getting to that point where you're like, I don't want to do this, but do we have to do this for our quarterback's sake? Oh, I mean, I think Julian Davenport would be starting tonight. I think that's what I saw. He's been taking
Yeah.
some snaps at tackle, which is obviously the worst case scenario because we all said Julian Davenport is horrendous. We don't want him at starting at tackle.
No.
So it's come to this point where we're like, oh boy. So I've even thrown out the option if Nelson comes back, do you put him at tackle for a couple games and make Chris Reed your guard? Like there's a lot of options I think the Colts can weigh, but yeah, right now I think it's Davenport, but I hope that changes. I really do.
Yeah, the way we've been seeing the left tackle position play out in training camp right now, the Colts would be better off starting a street one of them orange and white street cones, setting it out there at left tackle, and they might block the guard or the defensive end a little bit more than what we've seen from Tevy and Holden.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I've heard. Let's see. My co-host was at a training camp a couple days this week, and he said that Davenport wasn't like uber great, but he's seen more promise out of him than what he saw from Tevy and Holden previously. So we'll see how that turns out tonight.
Which is so odd. Like that is not what we expected. I did not expect both Holden and Tevy to just fall on their face like they have. Like it's weird how that's happened because I mean Holden he didn't have a ton of experience like last year with the Colts, but I thought he did a pretty decent job. Like I was like, I'd feel all right with him,
Well, it also, I mean, both Tevy and Holden are good at certain things, but really weak in other areas as well. And that's the problem is where they're weak at, they get exploited bad. Like Tevy is not very good at handling speed edge rushers. And what do the Colts have on the edge? That's all they have is speed edge rushers, right? That's why he was over there at right tackle last week, actually performed better than what Holden did at left tackle. But at the same time, Holden doesn't handle the power as well as what Tevy does, right? And that I think that's why Tevy was over there at right tackle last week, because that's more where your power run is coming from on that defensive end and that outside linebacker. But Holden is supposed to be better against those speed edge rushers, but those guys that were turning speed to power was just bulldozing right over and getting right in Easton's face, during that game last week. So it's a little bit of a worrisome situation.
Yeah, I mean, like I mean, if Davenport goes out there and plays okay, then I'm perfectly fine with it. But like when we signed Tevy, I remember a lot of people were criticizing the move, but I was like, okay, Fisher will, at the time Fisher wasn't there, but once we got Fisher, I was like, okay, you got Tevy there, he'll be okay, he'll hopefully hold his own, he'll make a few mistakes, sure, but he can't be terrible. And then he's been terrible at training camp so far, and in that preseason game, he has not been good. And Holden, I wasn't expecting him to not be as bad as what he was. I thought he would have been fine too. But yeah, like, I mean, if Davenport's the best of the four, then I mean, throw him in there. But I mean, I'm all for throwing Nelson in, for a little bit until Fisher's ready to go. I mean, if Davenport goes out there and plays a lot better and looks better, then go with Davenport for now. But yeah.
If Tevy holds the power a little bit better and he holds the right tackle a little bit more, what about maybe putting him at right tackle and seeing what Braden Smith can do at left with Nelson beside him?
Right.
That's an idea. I'm not saying go that route. I'm just saying that's another idea, like moving Nelson over,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is something that they could try too. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I
don't either.
Yeah, this is not the problem we want to have right now. It's the complete opposite of receivers.
It's completely something that we, as Colts fans, got used to with Luck being at quarterback. And then the last 3 years, we've been like, we ain't got a problem. And now we do again. And it honestly, to say we have one problem on the offensive line is a blessing compared to what we have had in the past. So,
yeah, true. It could be like 2017.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true. 10 sacks against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh, man. I try to forget that game, but yeah. One thing I was wondering, like, okay, if nobody looks good at tackle and you really don't want to move anybody, what about looking outside of your building? I know there's a couple like veteran offensive tackles that like even before the Colts signed Fisher, I think a few of them are still in the market. Like, what if you went after that route just for a couple weeks until Fisher got back?
Well, there's a couple options you can have. I mean, you also got to remember, like I said earlier, we're playing completely vanilla. We're going man against man. You can scheme help to your left tackle if you need to with your tight ends and running backs and stuff like that as well. But yeah, there's options out there. But the problem is, if you're going to go that route, you need to go that route quick, because they need time to understand the playbook and the players around them. You don't want to go sign some guy 1 week and then make him start unless he was a former Green Bay Packer.
Mm-hmm.
But he's even suspended, so it's like, what the heck?
Yeah, true, but I don't know. I don't know. Like you said, it's nice to. I mean, it's not nice to have issues on the offensive line, but it could be worse. It's nice to not have multiple issues on that offensive line.
Yeah.
But I also, real quick, want to go to the secondary. So what are you guys hoping for out of the secondary? Just kind of, just coming from today.
Oh, that's gonna be a hard call. I know Justin Jefferson ain't playing tonight. From what I'm understanding, he ain't playing tonight, but they still got some weapons out there. I mean, they really do, because you gotta remember they still got Adam Thielen. They got when he's healthy, D.D. Westbrook is a very solid receiver. We know him from Jacksonville. Irv Smith Jr., he's stepping up at the tight end position the last couple years. And then, of course, Alexander Madison and Dalvin Cook, they're scary guys out of the backfield. So those cornerback positions and the safety positions, they're going to need the defense to work like they are supposed to, right? Because we are a zone defense, and zone is based on getting pressure on the opposing quarterback to help our taller, longer armed defensive backs out so they can make plays on the ball. And if we can't get it, like you said, if Paye and Banagoo and all them other guys can't get in there and get pressure, then it could be a long day for those guys. But I want to see better from Tell, because Tell was really grabby week 1. Oh my goodness. Rock actually played halfway decent. Mm-hmm. And from what I'm understanding, he's playing a lot better over the last, couple weeks of training camp. So that's something else that I want to keep an eye on. And then just, the young guys. All your young guys like Tell, like Davis, who just came back into the fold over the past week or so. I want to see these guys go in there and make something. I don't have to see a pick six, but I want to see some deflections. I want to see some close coverage. I want to see them getting in passing lanes, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I echo everything that you're saying. I like what you talked about with Rock, because I feel like he's had a really strong week at camp, and I want him to build on that, because I think he can really do something if he builds off of that. I mean, his biggest thing is just, I feel like a lot of times he just doesn't look back at the football, and he doesn't stay disciplined in that way. And we saw him do that. It was one play, but it seems like from what different reporters and people have said, he's had a really strong week of camp. My question was, because we've seen this before, right? He's had really, really good really good games, really good plays, and then really bad ones. And I'm like, okay, Rock, just build on this. Just continue. You don't have to be the best corner in the league, right? But just be consistent. And if he can be consistent, I think he can lock the number 2 corner spot down personally. But I want to see him do it in the game, because there's some good weapons here, even with Justin Jefferson out. So
true.
I want to see him lock down number 2 corner. And if not, I want to see Marvell Tell have a bounce back game this week as well.
Well, we also got to remember, this isn't the Panthers game. We're not going up against the likes of Phillip Walker and Will Grier, guys that can move around in the pocket hardcore. I mean, Kirk Cousins not a guy that's going to scare you running the football. So, our pressure should get to him and help our secondary out. They just need to be able to capitalize on that.
Definitely. I'm also really looking forward to the cornerback spot because this is big for Rock. He's got to, this is it. Because if he doesn't win that spot, he could be gone, relatively soon. So he's got to win the spot. I'm also looking forward to Marvell Tell. I'm hoping he plays better. I liked some of the things he did last week. I thought he did some good things, but like you said, he was pretty grabby. So hopefully he, holds off of that and doesn't grab as much. Also Isaiah Rodgers, I want to see what he can do too. And, I just don't want to see big plays be allowed, from them. Just lock it down. Don't allow the big plays. Don't get burnt every time or, don't get burnt often. And, I'll be happy at that point. So there's that too. I'll go to some of the comments now. And I'll bring this up. Like the stream, guys. You should like the stream. There's 109 of you guys in here right now, which is awesome. So like that stream up. Let's get this out to more Colts fans. That is something we really, really want to see. Let me look at some more comments. Yes, Kwity has juice. He does belong in blue. I absolutely agree with that as well. And then let me I'll bring this up too. Danny Penter at left tackle.
Well,
for that?
He just got off his crutches.
True.
Just literally like 2 days ago got off his crutches. So he's no longer on his crutches. He's going to be injured for a while. He's not going to be out there playing for some time. Yeah. But Penner is an inside guy. And he's got a lot of power. And when he comes back from his injury, I think that they're going to want him as that guy that can swing from guard to center if need be.
Right.
Yeah. I feel that. Yeah, probably not. I mean, there's a reason the Colts kicked him inside. I mean, he's just not a tackle in the NFL, and that's fine, And I know there'll be people that say, well, neither was Braden Smith, but it's different. It really is different. And so the Colts obviously feel like his position is that. So I would probably go different options rather than Penter at tackle because I feel like there's better options out there right now. Nothing against Penter, but more of a center guard. Yeah,
you bring up Braden Smith. That is one of the most rare things you could ever see in the NFL is a guy who is listed as a guard and be moved to tackle. You'll see tackles go to guards all the time because they just don't have the footwork. Braden Smith was a guard and had the footwork coming out to be a tackle if he needed to be. And that is a really, really rare thing to happen.
Yeah. It's something that I don't see happening for a very long time with something like that. I like Penter. I definitely do. And like I said, I'm willing to try anything at this point. So, I mean, sure. For maybe in the Detroit game, play him a series or a couple snaps or whatever. Maybe try that. Just see if he does okay. I don't think he really fits that, though. I don't think that's his strong suit. So, I wouldn't put him at left tackle at this point. I would go with who we have right now or move one of the other guys over. That's what I would do for sure. And then I'm going to bring up Nomadic Brian. He wants to see more from Rocky Sen, Ben Banigou, and Teray. I absolutely agree.
I don't think we're going to see Teray today.
Yeah, I don't think Teray's playing today. But I mean, as far as like the next game, definitely want to see a lot from Teray. But yeah, Banigou especially. Yeah, I want to see a lot from him too. He's somebody I'm gonna keep an eye out on.
Yeah, he's been exploding against the twos and threes in camp. I want to see what he can do against ones.
I agree with that.
I mean, he was up against ones a little bit this week, so he's getting a little bit more run, which is good, and he was producing. So yeah, keep giving him snaps. I'm good with that.
But it's our ones. So
fair point.
True. Yeah, that is true. But I want to see more from him, but I'm loving what I see from him so far. Jordan asks, what's our expectations on the Colts safeties? I say I'll go to any of you guys first.
As far as like starting safeties or just like the other guys?
I'd say either one.
Well, yeah, I think for the starters, I'm certainly expecting this unit to take a leap even further. I mean, as good as they were last year, Julian Blackman wasn't 100%. Kari Willis had a good year, but you can think there's still things he can improve on, and he probably will. So yeah, I definitely think that for the starting group, I think they had the potential to be, honestly, I think they had the potential. I don't know if they'll do that, but top 5, I think so. And as far as the safety depth, man, it's totally different than what I thought it was going to be at this point. Andre Chikari, out of nowhere, has been the backup free safety, and I've liked what I've seen. Obviously, the Colts have liked what they've seen. So he's a guy that I didn't even like. I knew of the name, but I didn't really know who he was. He was a corner last year, So, yeah, he's been surprising to me. Very pleasant surprise for sure. And then as far as the strong safety goes, I mean, there's so many guys I feel like that could potentially take that right now. I don't even know who really has the edge right now.
I'm going to say Odom probably has the edge just because he's an all-pro on special teams.
Yeah,
that's it. That'd be the only reason. Yeah, you're going to need to see some serious work from both the Pittsburgh Davis and the rookie Davis in order for them to get over on either Odom or Chakri, either one. Because those guys actually have been doing pretty good, not only in practice, but in the games as well. And the Odom thing is surprising to me because Odom he's never played to that above average safety position until this offseason. And I'm wondering if, getting that all pro nod and then, no one picking up that option on him so that he would get paid more. I wonder if that burned a fire under him to go out there and just be that much better as a defender on the defense rather than just being out there on special teams.
Right. But yeah, I'm very curious about Odom too. I think he's done a lot. He's done pretty solid so far, and I think he's going to make the team for sure. Like you said, being an all-pro special teams player is definitely going to give you the edge over a lot of the guys. But yeah, I mean, Julian Blackmon, like you said, Cody, he wasn't 100% at all, and you could kind of tell that as we got towards the end of the year, he it started to affect him a little bit, but he should be 100% now. So I'm expecting him to take that big jump as well. And then obviously with Willis, Willis is another guy who I'm hoping, does some more things and continues to improve. I think these guys, I think they're going to be really, really good this year together. Like you said, maybe top 5. I don't really see them being outside of the top 10 as far as safeties in the NFL. I'd be shocked if that ends up being the case. But yeah, I'm very excited for that. And then the depth, I like the depth too. We got that Davis, right? We got the other
both
Sean
Davises, two Davises.
Yeah, I like Sean Davis. I want to see more from him. George Odom obviously is somebody I think is going to do good things too. So, yeah, pretty excited about that. Chichari, another dude that I'm pretty happy with as well. I'm going to look at some more comments real quick.
He got picked on that unnecessary roughness play, though. I don't think that should have been called in that game last week.
No, it shouldn't have been. I'll bring up another Colts loyalist comment. Do you think our quarterbacks combined for 300 plus yards tonight?
Oh yeah. I'm expecting Eason to have another similar game because I mean, like I said, he's going up against lesser competition, and we've already seen what the wide receivers can do. As long as he's given any kind of even 2 or 3 seconds in the pocket, I think he could darn near run that 200 by himself. So if Ehlinger can keep up 100. And you could do that just by running checkdowns all night with the kind of running backs that stable that we have and the tight end positions that the Colts have. He can run checkdowns and just keep moving chains over and over and over and get 100 yards and a half easy.
Yeah. And if we're just going by yards, then he can also scramble too. So he can get you extra yards, hidden yards there. So yeah, I think 300 yards is very, very easy. Not easy, but it's very doable for these guys. So yeah, I think so.
Oh, well, another thing. I mean, Eason can run the football. A lot of people don't realize this. The man can run north and south. I've seen in training camp where he took off right up the gut for 15 yards before he was even touched by a defender, and then earlier this week, he took off for an 8-yard scramble for a touchdown,
Right.
after rolling out to his right. So, I mean, he can move. That's not his preference. That's why you see him standing in the pocket most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. People like to make that lazy comparison to Phillip Rivers, and I don't think it's very accurate because you're right. Jacob Eason can move. Phillip Rivers could not move. He literally could not run. Jacob Eason can run when need be.
And that was before his injury. He couldn't run. And then he had an injury on top of that early in the season that stayed with him the whole year.
Yeah.
Yep. Very true.
But, yeah, I honestly think Eason, depending on how long he plays, if he plays an entire half like Ellinger did with the second half, they might throw Huntley in there, so maybe he doesn't. But if he plays like a half or whatever, I think Eason can get about 200 to 300 yards just alone, especially with the guys he's going to be going up against. And then with Ellinger, I think Ellinger will probably get around 150, somewhere in there, 150 to 200. Especially with him having Pittman coming in and some of these other starters. I think that's going to help Ellinger as well. So yeah, I think they can combine for 400 tonight too. I think it's very possible.
The only issue with Ellinger is he's going to have to be very accurate on leading his receivers against a starting defense, because otherwise he's going to end up throwing that foot, because he doesn't have the cannon that Eason does to be able to get that ball in the tight spots, and he'll have to lead a receivers very, very well with the way he throws in order to make sure that there's no turnovers in this game. He threw 2 balls that he should have had 2 interceptions last week. Lucky that the other guy didn't turn his head around because it hit him right in the back of the head.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Ellinger just needs to lead a little bit better, and I think he'll do fine.
Yeah, I think having the starters is definitely going to help him, but like you said, he's got to be a little more accurate, and be better at some of the decision making. But if he can, fix those things up, some of the issues he had last week, I definitely think he can do pretty well. And I do want to bring DeMarco's comment up because he really wants us to talk about it. Most people have us ranked as a team between 4 to 7 wins without a healthy Wentz, but question how well Wentz will play either way. LOL. I believe this healthy is a 13-4 team with everyone healthy. Thoughts? Anybody who thinks that we're a 4 to 7 win team, they need to learn a little bit about football a little more. I saw there was a graphic going around where people are like, "Oh, the Colts win 4 to 7 games." No, even without a healthy Wentz, we still have a top 10 defense. We still have one of, if not the best, offensive lines when Fisher comes in. We still have a top 3 run game. We still have really good receivers, and we still have a great coaching staff. So even with Eason or Ellinger in there, I think we could win, 8 to 10 games. I definitely think we can. I feel more confident about us with Eason getting to that point at this moment, but still, I think 8 to 10 is very possible. And then with Wentz, I think you can bump that up to 11 to 13, depending on how he plays when he comes back. So yeah, I'll go to you guys real quick.
I haven't seen that, and that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
You could, dude, my cat could be the quarterback and we win 4 to 7 games. Okay. I mean, because we just have that much talent on the team. All right. And like you said, coaching, they can work around a quarterback's deficiencies. That's what Frank Reich is good at.
Yes.
Working around a deficiency and working with their strengths. Mm-hmm. That's why, he's had 4 different quarterbacks, and all 4 of them have been good, had good seasons. So you got to remember that, Frank Reich's going to put whoever is out there at quarterback in the best possible position to win a game. Mm-hmm. And, I like I said, I brought up Eason a million times. He's only had 2 seasons of college, of football, period, in the last, 5 years, 2 seasons in 5 years. He played his rookie and then he got benched and replaced his sophomore year. Didn't play as a junior, came back at Washington with a different team. And then last year, when he was drafted, didn't get any snaps, for practice or anything because he had Jacoby and Rivers in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
So this year is basically he's learning everything from scratch with 2 college seasons of experience under his belt. He has been massively improving throughout training camp at a week to week basis. I mean, it is palpable how much that it is seen. I could see this kid being a starter worthy quarterback very, very soon because he's learning things like stepping up into the pocket, not taking such a deep 7-step drop because the guy's tall, so his strides are long. He's realizing I shouldn't do that when the tackles are having issues. I need to stay up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see less than 9 wins, even with Eason or Ellinger being a quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, people seem to just randomly forget that we had Jacoby Brissett and Brian Hoyer, and we still went 7-9. And that was with a worse team. That was with like lack of interior pass rush. That was with just a defense that was a lot less, a running game that was a lot less, and receivers that everything was just not as good a couple of years ago. And we still were able to start out 5-2 with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback, who was fine, but he wasn't, a top quarterback by any stretch. And people act like he was. I was like, they didn't win because of Jacoby. They won because of everything else, because of Frank Reich, because of their running game, because of the defense was playing good. And Jacoby just was fine. And I think, if we have Eason, who looks like he could even be better than Jacoby, his ceiling is certainly higher. Why would we win less games, lose more games than we did in 2019? Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I never understood it at all. I mean, look, if it affects the Vegas odds or whatever, okay, as long as, it goes up, plus, let's say 900, okay, fine, cool. Say that we'll go 4-7, but this team is too good of a team. We could have so many quarterbacks in this league that are just average to below average, and we would still win more than 7 games. We just have the team.
Well, for one, all these pundits out there with national media pundits who 3 weeks ago was saying the Colts need to go out and get Nick Foles or Gardner Minshew or Mitchell Trubisky. After week 1, they were singing the praises of Sam Ellinger and Jacob Eason, right? Those exact same people. So, I mean, come on. They just takes them a little bit. They didn't know what the Colts had. They seen a little bit about what we had in the backfield. Now they kind of understand, okay, Frank Reich is comfortable with his quarterback room, obviously for a reason,
Right. And I mean, if we traded for one of those guys, which I'm glad we didn't, but if we did, I think we'd still do okay. But I mean, Eason, I think, is better than both. I think Eason gives us the better chance. But yeah, I mean, we could bring in anybody. Maybe not anybody, but we could bring in a lot of quarterbacks, and I think we do better than 7 wins.
Did you see what Mitchell Trubisky did against Chicago today?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's all about the fit, and look, Frank Reich, you could give him me, and we'll win 7 games.
You give him Lawrence's cat and he'll win.
Exactly. I mean, there's a lot of handoffs happening, but we're gonna win a lot of games.
Like Truett said, your cat ain't scared.
No.
They ain't scared at all. But no, that just makes me laugh. I'll bring this up real quick. Is there a chance that Eric Fisher comes back before week 5?
There's a chance Eric Fisher could start week 1.
Yeah.
This entire camp, Eric Fisher's, and I have said this almost every time someone brings it up. Eric Fisher has done sprints from day 1 of camp, doing hard start and hard stops on his left foot, which is the injured Achilles.
Yeah.
Every day of camp. And the last couple weeks, he's been out not just doing those, but doing other things as well. Frank Reich in our interview. Remember, Cody? He was talking about Eric Fisher, expecting him to go out there and be doing personals here pretty soon.
Yeah.
So there's a chance. I mean, the Colts, let's see, the Chiefs had him his return in middle of this month, which is now, right? And the Colts had him early September. You know, is what they had him when they went and picked him up. And apparently he is right on those exact lines. They're saying that there was no setbacks, still on schedule of everything. So yeah, there's a possibility that Fisher could start. I wouldn't bank on it. It's just like I wouldn't bank on Carson Wentz starting week 1 either, but there's a chance there.
True.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think Eric Fisher is going to be back week 1 per se. I think they're going to let him, take a little more time to that. But I think week 2, week 3, especially, with the Rams there, if he's good to go, I think week 2 is probably the earliest we'll see him. Maybe week 1, but that would be a stretch, I think. But week 2 for sure. That's kind of like where I have Carson Wentz coming back. I think it's around week 2. Nelson will be back week 1. Like, they're not stopping him. He'll go out there. He's playing week 1, but week 2, I think, is when Eric Fisher could definitely play. Definitely before week 5, though.
And I'd rather that happen against the Rams than against the Seahawks, personally.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I don't know, because I mean the Seahawks run a lot of safety blitzes with Adams, so that's how they get a lot of their pressure. So. But at the same time, most of those safety blitzes are on Adams' side, and that's coming off the right side. So, that's not Fisher's side.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Well, there's like 100 people in here. That's awesome. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you haven't yet, hit that like button. Trying to get it out to more Colts fans. And also, we are Derek's going to be live streaming the game here very soon. Matt, I know he was having a little bit of issue in the text, so hopefully he figures that out or decides to do something different. I'm not sure exactly yet, but we'll figure it out nonetheless. But yeah, really excited that everybody's in here tuning in. It's crazy that it's already week 2, man.
Oh, definitely. And it was kind of like with your situation, I'm getting the text via email.
Oh, yeah.
But it won't let me respond. So it's like I don't know. But like I keep seeing you and Derek talking about that. I was like, I can't respond right now.
It's all good.
But no, yeah, thank you everybody who's tuning in so far. Also click that like button. Let's get those likes. Let's break some records, man. Let's break some records with the likes. Let me look at some more.
CJ2K is in the chat. I mean,
hey, Chris Johnson, how you doing?
What's up?
Hey, look,
he decided to be a Colts fan. He couldn't stand the Titans anymore.
That's right.
Yeah, he's like, I'm done with the Titans. I got to be a Colts fan.
Colts and Bills, apparently.
And Bills, yeah.
It's not hard. It's hard not to like the Bills. So I mean, the Bills have got a really good team right now.
Yes, and then their fan base is like one of the best in all of sports. It's insane,
incredibly over the top. Yep,
it's over the top in a great way. I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely.
It's not like over the top Philly fans. It's over the top good.
They're eating things that they shouldn't be eating and whatnot. Avoiding the exact word for YouTube terms of service. But let me look at some more comments.
What's monetization?
Real quick.
We need it.
So Matthew Limis is asking where you can watch the game. I know Joseph said TV, which you can watch on your TV. But no, like I know it's
on your
phone? Fox around here, or on your phone. It's on ABC around where I'm at. It's on ABC. I think Fox is streaming some of it. I think if you're out of the state, the CW might be playing it. It's not going to be on NFL Network this week, which would
but it is on Game Pass. So if you happen to have NFL Game Pass, you can watch all of the preseason games live. Yeah. And if you don't have Game Pass, I'm pretty sure they still have that 7-day trial period that you can go and sign up for, and just remember to cancel it afterwards. Otherwise, your credit card's going to be like, it's $100.
Yeah,
True.
definitely.
Very true.
Yeah, I was at work and had something like that happen. It's like, oh, forgot to cancel that. Well, that's
Yep.
great. Well, that's wonderful. But no, Fox, ABC, CW, and then like Lawrence said, Game Pass is another one. I don't think Sunday Ticket does preseason, which is weird that they would charge you that much and then not give you preseason.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe is Red Zone going on right now?
I don't use Red Zone. I'm not sure.
Say Red Zone might play it. But I don't know if they do preseason. But those are some things you could do. And then there's of course other ways that the NFL would not like me to say. But hey, you do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, you should find it on Fox or ABC though.
Yeah. Okay, so some guys that have note that won't play tonight: Darius Leonard, T.Y. Hilton, Jack Doyle, and Jonathan Taylor.
Okay.
That's what Frank Reich said.
So you're going to see a lot of Marlon Mack. You're going to probably see a lot of Nyheim Hines too, because he didn't play last week. And then Jordan Wilkins. You'll probably see a lot of those three guys in the first half.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said 10 to 15 plays for the first team unit. So we won't see him out there a whole lot.
Oh, that's
that's some, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a drive.
Yeah. We'll see him
for Sam Ellinger. That's a drive.
Yeah. That's good for Sam. It's good for Sam. He better take advantage of that. But
right.
No, I mean, I wasn't expecting like Leonard to play or I'm kind of surprised Jack Doyle isn't playing today. I thought he would have got involved a little bit, maybe like, a few drives at least.
I think it's because he's such a veteran,
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And he's had a good camp. So, I've seen some explosion out of him that I was kind of not seeing last year. So, yeah.
So that's good. Say we should see Mo Ali Cox though, which I'm always loving. I love to see him out there. That's somebody for sure. I'll bring up this comment real quick. I think Campbell is just more dynamic after the catch and as a deep threat. Oh, he's talking to DeMarco. Yeah, absolutely. One of the more dynamic players, not just on the team, but maybe in the NFL. Like
I've said before, if Campbell stays healthy and plays 17 games this season, I could see him legitimately leading the Colts in yardage. Maybe not touchdowns, maybe not targets, but yardage wise, I could see him leading and having well over 1,000, just because of how dynamic and what he could do after the catch.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that for sure. Because once he gets the ball, if you don't have a few guys around him, you're lucky if you can bring him down because he has that speed. He's great with the footwork. He's very difficult.
It's hard to cover him one-on-one. Because, there's no cornerback that has all those, even Jalen Ramsey. Mm-hmm. Ramsey's got the speed to hang up with him, but Campbell's got some size to him, Yeah. So, he's a mismatch for just about anyone in one way or another. And that makes Campbell dangerous.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, please just stay healthy because we know what you can do when you're healthy. Just please, we're begging you.
Amen.
Just stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, watch out. He's going to be awesome. I'll bring up Colts loyalist comment here. I think this is an interesting one. Do you have any surprises that we might see tonight?
Oh, Blue's going to do a double backflip. with Nyheim Hines after a touchdown.
That would be impressive.
Yeah. No, I think Blue tackles the Vikings. He's going to do that. He'll tackle him. And then just like with the Patriots, they'll try to do an apology thing and be like, nope. He'll go up there and be like, nope, not apologizing at all. We'll hit you with the chair.
Blue
Chris Ballard will show emotion when the camera is shown span to him up there in the box.
Yeah.
During the game.
I want to sit during one game and just listen to Chris Ballard up in the press box. I want to
It's so much fun to listen to. Like, we need to get like a fly that has like a microphone that can go in
Right.
and just sit in the wall and record Chris Ballard, and just all the things he says. It's got to be a lot of fun. It's got to be tons of fun there.
Yeah.
But no, as far as surprises, I don't know. Rocky Sin gets a pick six. I think that'd be a pretty nice surprise. Maybe a big run by like a Benny LeMay, Deion Jackson. I think maybe something like that happens, where they just explode and get you like a 30, 40-yard run, just something like that. I don't know as far as like your starters, whatnot. I don't know about any surprises from them though.
Mhm.
I'll tell you right now. Hold on, because I need to look at this real quick. I can't remember. I'm having issues with his name. Give me just one moment, please. There's a player I expect to have a big game today. Noah.
Noah Tagia?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like Noah Tagia. Yeah. I was going to say Mike Strawn has a red zone touchdown. He just jumps one-on-one and he beats a guy. That would be a pleasant surprise.
Mike Strawn jumps from the 20 and catches it in the end zone.
Yep.
And then dunks it over the crossbar and gets fined, hit with a 15-yard penalty for taunting. And, because
yeah, that's I know there's like some coaches in the league. I know Frank Reich was, fine with it and whatnot. I'm sure he wasn't fine at the time because he just lost all those yards. But I know there's some people like, it should definitely happen. It shouldn't be talking. It's like, come on, especially with Benny LeMay. You make a run like that, let him do a little something. I mean, he deserves it at that point. But just let the guys, not too much, but let them talk a little. That makes the game a little more fun, I think. You don't want to just have a play where somebody catches it over like 5 players and then just gets up and walks back.
I made a mistake. It wasn't Noah that I was saying was going to have a big game. It's Faird Green.
Oh, Faird Green, yeah.
Okay.
Faird Green.
Mm-hmm.
Faird Green has been showing out in camp. If a lot of you don't realize this, because Jack Doyle and Mo Alley Cox has missed a lot, especially Mo Alley Cox, and Faird has been out there with the second and third string teams, and dude is he looks almost as big as Mo Alley Cox out. He is a big dude. Faird Green is. He's a big target and is able to move. He's just, I don't know. He's making good plays, and I expect something out of him today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It'd be nice to see him have a pretty big game. And then, of course, I want Kafuzi. I want him to have another big game.
Yes.
I loved what I saw from Kafuzi last week. There were some BYU guys when I made a video talking about the Colts signing him in free agency when the draft ended. There's some BYU guys that were saying, hey, this guy is good. He was the captain of our defense. He's going to make your team. He's going to be really good for you guys. And I've been keeping an eye on him, so it's nice to see that he's been doing good things so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I have one here I can pull up that I really liked from Colts Beat. He says, what are your thoughts on the undrafted free agent streak, and is this the year that it ends?
Probably.
I'm thinking,
if we do get it, there'll be practice squad and it still won't count.
Yeah.
Because it's a 53-man roster. We might get one undrafted like Vaughn's, that go on, or Black, that might go on the practice squad, but I don't think that they're gonna make the 53.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think either like Vaughn's or Black, but Kafuzi is another guy. I think he's somebody that could definitely make the team, especially if he continues, as my dogs freak out, as he continues to improve. If he shows that he's a solid backup, I think he makes the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was trying to think of like some scenarios where that could potentially happen. And I was like, oh, would it happen? Maybe, like Jordan Wilkins, the Colts decide to let him go somewhere else. And then they get a guy like, one of those running backs, Benny LeMay, or, Deion Jackson is your fourth running back. But there's really, I feel like they're going to keep Wilkins ultimately. So I don't really see that happening. But yeah, there is not a whole lot of margin for those guys to have it this year. This is the least I've ever seen being a Colts fan.
But that's a good thing. That means our
It is.
depth is good.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's a great thing. I love it, but it's like, oh, that streak's cool, but I'd rather have guys I know a little bit more.
But also, you know, you're going to have a lot of guys that's not going to make the team, and you're going to hope goes to the practice squad. Ain't going to make the practice squad because they're going to be playing for other teams. Other teams are going to snatch them up, you know, and that again is something else. We saw that last year during the season. People snatching people right off our practice squad, putting them straight to their 53-man roster. And you know you have a really good, deep roster when that is happening on a consistent basis. And we haven't had that happen. We haven't had a team like that for years. And now we do. So, you know.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Like I said, I think we have a good idea who out of the undrafted free agents has the best chance to make it, but it's not a guarantee this time. But then I'll bring this one up real quick because I know in 13 minutes we have a stream for the game that Derek is going to be doing. But Jordan asks, is Ryan Kelly coming back next week? And yeah, I believe he is coming back next week.
They were hoping he was going to be back later this week, but
yeah,
didn't quite make it. They just pulled him out a little bit longer for that hyperextended elbow.
Right. I'm getting a call real quick. I'll take that real quick.
Oh, you're good. We'll just end on this one real fast. Let's just finish with your guy loyalist. We'll just finish this here. More likely tonight, quarterbacks 425 yards passing, running backs 150 yards rushing, or defensive ends 4 sacks. What do you guys think?
4 sacks.
4 sacks?
I think more likely tonight 4 sacks than the running backs getting 150 yards because we're not going to see the starting offensive line a whole lot. So I don't see a lot of 150 yards on there. And for 425 yards passing with our team, that'll be a heck of a game.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, Kirk Cousins and them, they're not that mobile. And our defensive ends, they've got some speed. Even without Teray out there, you could see some pressures possibly maybe turning over into some sacks in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I agree with you. I think it's going to be 4 sacks. Maybe 425, you know, but it really depends on how Easton looks because I don't really see Ellinger getting more than 175 today, especially after finding out that we're probably going to only have the starters for 1 drive.
Maybe 2. Yeah.
Maybe 2. So I don't think 100. I think 175 is probably the most he'll get. So in order for you know, that to hit 425, I think Eason would have to hit like
300.
300. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think he can get 200 to 250.
If Eason throws 300 tonight, we just crown him starter now.
Yeah, he's a starter. He's absolutely. I mean, it's possible with the guys he's going up against tonight, but I think 4 sacks is definitely the most likely to happen.
Yeah, I'm going to go there too. 4 sacks, I think easily. I think that everything's trending towards that being the likely thing compared to these 4 these 3 options because, Jonathan Taylor's out today. And also, the starters aren't going to be in super, super long. So maybe that will contribute to the lack of, passing yards. So I agree with you.
Definitely.
But all right. Well, I think that about does it. It's just about 7:30. So we've been on here just under an hour 15. I think that's normally around the time that we try to do it.
I actually stayed the whole time. I didn't expect to.
Yeah, I was like, dang, okay. But thank you everybody for tuning in. And if you're on your way out, go head over to where we're going to be streaming here. Derek's going to be streaming probably in about 10 minutes. He's going to start the stream up and just kind of get some people talking before the game officially starts. And if you're heading out, hit that like button and all that good stuff. Subscribe, all that stuff. We're going to have you guys covered throughout the week. And hey, subscribe to Colts Law as well because he does great work.
I appreciate that.
Good thing. And also Inside the Horseshoe deserves some subscribers too, because I know you put in hard work as well, Matt. All these guys, great friends, and thankful that you guys are willing to hop on here. Really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to always be on here.
Oh, absolutely, man.
So much fun. All right. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, head over to the live play-by-play stream happening in about 10 minutes. Appreciate everybody for all your support. And as always, guys, go Colts.